Shut up and don't tell me how to do things. I'm not saying that I'm special, I'm just unique. I am marching to my own beat. Mine's my playground, but it's really not amusing. Come out back and play, I'll show you where I keep my mood swings. Rhymes are random, I know it's confusing. That's just me, it's how I do things. Thoughts are getting darker, terrible like loose leaf. Please don't take advantage, please don't use me. Or your jaw gon' hang like curtains loosely. I'm obsessive, I know things consume me. Overanalyze until my face turns blue. See what you say, what didn't.
What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome to another episode of the 49ers Podcast Network. We got a full crew here tonight. That intro, I had to put it together at the last minute. Probably sounds very familiar to Mr. Pete.
Yeah. The video, not the sound.
But everyone, welcome to our channel. I appreciate you guys coming. This is, I believe, our third episode or fourth episode of the 49ers Podcast Network. We got my boy, my co-host, Mr. Brandon. What's up, Brandon?
What's going on?
And we got Pete in the house. What's up, Pete?
What's going on?
And then we got Christian in the house. What's up, Christian?
What up?
And then we got Bashar in the house. What's up, Bashar?
Doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. And then we got our boy Dion in the house as well. What's up, Dion? He's probably
What's
driving
going on,
right
fellas? What's good?
There he is. And last but not least, our boy Rod's in the house. What's up, Rod?
What's up with it, everybody? What's going on?
Are you guys ready for a good show tonight?
Absolutely. Let's get it.
So many things to talk about, and I'm gonna bring up the topic, and then you guys can just go from there. A lot of things happen. You know, we know about the Robbie Gould won't be kicking for the 49ers any longer, and a lot of the names that I've been hearing, one in particular in the draft is Jake Moody being taken by the Niners. The question is, where would he be well suited to be taken in the draft? Some people think a third round pick for him is too high. Some people think that even a fifth round is too high. But the question is for the panel to start off this show, would he be available where you think it's the right place for the Niners to take him at? There's a lot of teams that need kickers out there, like the Cowboys and other teams. So I'm going to start it off with that. Is Jake Moody one that you guys want first? And secondly, how high is too high in your opinion? And we'll go ahead and start with my boy Brandon.
I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't really looked into too much of the people coming in from the draft.
Shame on you.
I've been so busy with work, dude. So, but I mean, it's, you know what, let's start it off with Bashar first, and then you come back to me afterwards.
Ándale pues. Bashar, go ahead, brother, since he's copying out over there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really, really high on Jake Moody. Not saying that I don't think he's going to be a good kicker. I don't think that he's good, but you know, people are talking about trying to spend a third round draft pick on him or even fifth rounder. I'm like, no, I'd say wait when we got our picks in the 200s, perhaps once we get there. I'm not sure if any of those picks are in 200s are in the 6th round, but they might all be in the 7th round. If that's the case, just wait till the 7th round. I just think we have so many other pressing needs. Unless we hit it big on other picks, who knows? We may possibly trade up to get a lineman, a tackle, or an edge. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be other good kickers that are out there too. I just don't think it's the end all be all with this guy. That he's the only kicker worth drafting and nobody else. That's how I look at it.
Right on. What about you, Dion?
Me personally, I hear that Moody is probably the best kicker in the draft, so we might as well take him. You know, Robbie's on his way out, obviously, and that's okay for me. Man made a decision. He feels comfortable with it. Team feels comfortable with it. We just definitely have to make sure we find the kicker in general, just based off the fact that Mitch is definitely not a dual-sided type kicker. He definitely is one that can only punt. So he can do punt and kickoff, but we just get, you know, if we draft a kid, I honestly think we could take him with one of them third round picks. Fuck, we drafted Mitch Wisnowski in the 5th round, but I think we will have to draft him a little bit higher due to the amount of teams that are kicker needy. So for me, I would say you could take one of them third round picks, one of them comp picks, and pick him up. Why not? That way you have that situation cleared up and squared away. And you can even go after your offensive lineman and find a center and a guard if you don't find one in free agency. Because to my knowledge, we don't have any contracts that have been finally reconstructed. And that's going to need to be done because I think we now stand around 7 or 8 million in cap space.
Yep. We and I agree. It's a lot of people might not want to take him up high, but I don't know if he'll be available in the 5th or 6th, where we think is ideal for him to be taken because we want to use our picks for other players. But I'm going to ask Pete, and then I'll go to Christian, and then we'll finish it with Rod. Well, back to my boy Brandon because he didn't want to go first.
Yeah, no mames.
Pete, what's your thoughts on that question, brother?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Dion, and Wisnowski was picked in the 4th round, so it's even it wouldn't surprise me at all if they decided to use one of those 3rd round comp picks because they're at the end of the 3rd round anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't shock me. I don't think the 49ers do what they want. Like this front office has proven that they pick who they want when they want, and they don't really care too much about what the experts think about draft position and all that other kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if this year they moved around a little bit in the draft and use some of the comp picks from next year that they're going to have next year and move up either. So it's going to be I fully expect them to go after there's another couple of kickers that they've already talked to at the combine. So it's not necessarily Moody or bust, but I'm go blue Michigan Wolverines. So of course I want Moody on the team, but yeah, it's not Moody or bust. They got a couple other guys that they've been talking to too. So nothing surprises me at this point.
That's right. You're a Michigan fan. I forgot about that, Pete.
That's right.
What are your thoughts, Christian?
I feel like I'm kind of in the middle because I don't really want the Niners to waste an earlier round pick on them because we have other needs. But from what I've seen from Moody, he does look like a generational type of kicker, like one that you do kind of, go up and get. Just because we've seen those kickers been drafted early before and have great careers in the league. So he looks like he could be one of those kickers. So I could see going up and taking him early, but I don't really want that for the Niners because we have other needs. So if we did it, I'd be fine with it, but I don't really want to do it. But I do think there's a chance he could be a generational kind of kicker because I was watching him and he's freaking phenomenal for a kicker. Like I haven't seen a kicker this good in quite a while. So, but when it comes to kickers, as long as we can find somebody who can kick it out of the back of the fucking end zone, I don't really care.
He hit a 59-yarder.
I just mean because how many times we get screwed with returns because Robbie Gould can't kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. So I think that's a big part of finding a kicker. I want somebody who can kick good field goals, but we need somebody with a strong enough leg to kick it out of the back of the end zone.
I totally agree with that, man.
Go ahead,
agree with you. You just took literally the same words how I felt about the same thing. I agree. I totally agree. Same exact moves, everything, because I'm torn as well. I don't know which way to go as far as it. We have so many picks in the 3rd, round this year. Like you said, also you can go and trade, a couple of them. It's no wrong situation right now. So I think we're in good company right now.
Yeah, I hear you. There's so many, so many kickers out there that could be a kicker for us. But I don't know. I love Robbie Gould. I love that he, is very accurate, especially in the playoffs. He's very consistent. But man, it seems like we have to get him. We have to get up to the 40. 40-yard line, or for him to be able to make a completion. It's like I want to see someone that can go 50, even 60 yards at times. If we can move the ball, that we can still get at least 3 points out of it. But I'm always a firm believer. Sometimes when you make changes can be good, and sometimes changes can be bad. Sometimes you go from Robbie Gould, and we can hit with someone like Moody, or we draft Moody and he just flops in the NFL as good as he is in college. I doubt it for kickers though, but because kickers is completely different from regular position in football. But it's an interesting to see what happens there. At the end of the day, Robbie Gould is going to be kicking from someone else. They didn't use no franchise tag on him, which I didn't think they would, because I don't think they wanted to pay him that amount of money. And they just allow him to walk. The Niners probably don't want him to go. They're probably still trying to work something out with him, but I doubt it if he comes back. I think he does move on. Let me ask you guys, McKivitz was offensive lineman that was signed to 2 years, most likely to replace Big Mike at the right.
I sure as hell hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not either. Man, I hope not.
I'm about to look at that contract and see how much we're paying the guy.
That's what I'm saying. They haven't announced how much they're paying him yet. So like at least
if
I didn't
it's
see
not
it.
Definitely
money,
2
then
years, right?
It's okay.
Yeah,
But if
2
it's
years, but I
part of
mean,
money,
all that means is that he'll be
Yeah.
on the team for 2 years. Like
Right.
We're just
Is he more depth than actual starting?
I don't see how we put in a freaking just a cheaper version of Mike McGlinchey, if not almost
Yeah.
like that. Like if they just want to keep our quarterbacks keep getting hurt, then put in McKivitz. If not, find somebody who can fucking block.
They need to make it
That's
a priority. You can't just have a Trent Williams and be like, okay, well, yeah, we got this mountain of a man who's an amazing tackle, Trent Williams, and let's have shit on the right side. No,
Right.
why not try to make the right side just as good as the left? I don't understand that philosophy.
Okay, let me ask you guys this: who do you guys want the Niners to pick their first pick? Was it the third round? Correct.
Yeah, 99.
Would you like them to go defense, or would you like them to try to get a right tackle per se?
Defense.
A right tackle,
Just
best
because-
available.
I mean, yeah, if a right
But
tackle is
the
available,
best of-
that's the need.
I mean, it's 3
Yeah.
picks
The
in a
problem
row.
is there's
so
not.
whoever's- Yeah.
But we don't know what's going to happen in
have-
free agency yet.
We
So-
have to
Right,
reach.
we don't.
So it seems like just doing the mocks at least. We'd have to reach for a right tackle at our first
Exactly.
pick, where most likely corner, safety, maybe defensive end or interior defensive line is going to be the pick, because there's a lot in this draft and the quality's high, but there's not that high of a quality in the third round with the offensive lineman.
According to
If you
PFF,
get
right?
into, like,
Their
the-
draft site.
Yeah, like if you go to like
noticed it- I
fourth and
noticed it on
fifth
there.
round, maybe, but
I
But the
noticed it there.
thing is, sometimes you can find a gem with these offensive guys.
keep in mind
you,
that
you
they're
can reach on them.
Keep in mind with
Go
the
ahead.
third round pick, we do have the 99, the 101, and the 102.
Yes.
So there's just that 100
Yes.
in between us. So if we feel that whatever that, I forgot what the team it is, if they don't need that particular position, I can see them going defensive tackle and then maybe going offensive tackle with the 101, because they know that team is not going to take one. So it's being that close. I like it in a sense, so the Niners have a little bit better chances of who they're going to take with 99, because they know whoever they want could still be there at 101.
I would say that there's a couple of things, right? So we won't know anything until free agency hits. Like when free agency hits and they pick up like
Correct.
at least their main guy or whatever the case is, then we'll have a better idea of what their strategy could be. But the other piece of it is all these mock draft sites, the last 2 years at least that I've been doing mock drafts, the draft doesn't pan out like the mock drafts. Like
Of course, it never does.
last year,
It never does.
last year it was ridiculous how different it was. So so I don't know. I don't put a lot of stock in the mock drafts. It's fun to do them. It's fun to do them, and it's fun to like kind of think of. But we don't know. A lot of these teams are just not telling you what they really are looking for in the draft. They're talking to a whole bunch of them. They throw a lot of smoke screens out there, but then when the draft hits, they pick They picked Spencer Burford that we didn't hear anything about, or Womack
Yeah.
that we didn't hear anything about, or Nick Zakelj that we didn't hear anything about. And so we just got to think about it as it's all these positions, the draft position. It's all tentative because like a guy like Tyler Steen could fall like all the way down to us. And because right now he's just above where we're picking, but he could definitely fall, like just depending on what the teams are prioritizing. So,
and I do think we're just going to take best available guys and a mix of guys that, you never heard of. Like, I know for the third round, one of the guys I really like, which is technically not need, but the tight end out of Michigan.
Yes, Schumacher.
Actually, I like with having those 3 third-round picks.
Go blue.
It with one of those third-round picks because, in my opinion, it's not one of our needs, but we need a second tight end, one that we can legitimately trust, which we don't have. We have Kittle, and that's it. And I'd like the way we run a lot of 2 tight end formations at times. I'd like a pretty tight end to back up Kittle, and I'd like that tight end out of Michigan.
Yep.
I even heard that
me personally,
the tight end Ngakoue was out there as well. So that's another possibility also. Ngakoue. From the Browns.
Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few guys we can
Ngakoue, isn't he on the Colts? I think he's from the Colts, right? Ngakoue?
I think so.
Yeah, and
then, especially this last year.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I think basically what's going to happen is they're going to probably draft another defensive tackle. Damn near every year with our first pick outside of Trey Lance, it's always been the fucking defensive line, consistently. You know what I'm saying? So it drives me absolutely insane. But I'm telling you, and it doesn't make sense because it's like, okay, you got Trey Lance coming in due to the fact that Brock surgery is going to keep him out for a while. You typically would want to make sure that the O-line is solid and, get a center, get a right tackle, get those dudes working together in camp and not do this fucking dumb shit of shuffling all of your goddamn offensive linemen all throughout camp, and not letting them build continuity properly. So, though they should probably go after the offensive line first because it's harder to find those guys, they most likely will draft the defensive tackle, and then probably those next 2 picks in the third round are going to be some unexpected shit. But that's just how Kyle and John move.
See, I think the whole keep drafting D linemen early is 100% the John Lynch effect because I still firmly believe that he's trying to recreate that dominant defensive line that he played with in Tampa Bay, because their defense was one of the defenses ever that year they won the Super Bowl, and they had one of the best defensive lines ever with Warren Sapp leading the way, and it always feels like John Lynch is trying to recreate that kind of defensive line to anchor the defense, and so that's why we're always drafting defensive linemen early in the draft. I could be wrong, but it just feels like that's what he's trying to do.
Which wouldn't be a bad thing.
True, if it would work.
Yeah.
If we'd stop missing on picks.
That's true.
I mean, I feel like you have to build within on the trenches, because if you don't, it almost feels like it turns into like 7-on-7s after a while, because it's like if you can't get any pressure onto any quarterback, it's going to be a long day. So we got to, create some type of pressure, especially up the middle. So I definitely agree with it.
I think we don't have the sacks to show it, but I still think we had probably some of the best pressure consistently throughout the season, because I look at the way we led the league in interceptions last year, and to me that mostly stems from pass rush. Even though we don't have the sacks, the interceptions have a lot to do with the pass rush.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the guys we have personally. Like I know we're gonna mix around, but I do feel good with the guys that we do have going into next season because we may not have had the sacks to show it, but we have the interceptions to show that they were doing their job.
I feel you. I agree.
I'm sorry.
But I like this comment about Zadarius Smith. I'm all for bringing.
What's up,
Zadarius
JB?
Smith. That would be freaking sick.
I'd love to bring Zadarius
What's up,
Smith.
family?
That'd
How
be
are you?
great.
Oh, what's going on,
Oh,
John?
John
JV,
Lee's
what's
here.
up, homie?
What's up,
Party
John?
just started.
Did you? I felt like I was late.
No,
No,
we,
you're good.
you're perfect timing, brother.
All right.
Just don't let it happen again. Perfect timing, though.
You better
don't
wipe your feet.
I'm kidding.
Hey, the one thing I'm ready to talk about the most is this Lamar Jackson bullshit.
Oh, come on.
Is it really?
Is it really even worth talking about? Like,
It's true.
We don't have the
Okay,
money.
it's true. It's
Open
true.
up the
It's
can of
just,
worms, won't you?
it's just annoying how many Niner fans are like, oh, let's trade Bosa, let's trade Lance, let's trade a freaking this pick. I'm like, dude, you guys want to trade all this for a guy whose accuracy is worth our rookie quarterback who just played?
well, I don't. It's not to me. It's
That
not
just-
even about Lamar. The reality is that they're not going to do it. So why are we even speculating? Like, I mean,
but they're acting like
nobody. There is no chance that the 49ers do that. Like, there's
they're
just no
acting
chance.
like though. They're acting like it's like a huge disservice and it's terrible that we're not even gonna try. Like, well, it's not the best thing for our team, and
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it's even brought up, and then why people are going into it so much, acting like has to happen, and it's the only thing that makes sense because it's ridiculous. They want a quarterback who is injury prone, who is most of his game is based off his running, which running eventually declines, especially with leg injuries, which he's getting, which he's coming off of. And he's still not that great of a thrower with the ball. His accuracy is not that great. So why is he a top 3-5 quarterback like everybody's saying? I don't get it.
I don't think
Because he can run. It's his leg.
I don't think his
It's real
accuracy,
simple.
but his accuracy isn't that bad. Like, it's
Yeah,
just yeah.
the number one
Go ahead,
situation for me with Lamar is you cannot get him. And I feel like everybody has bypassed that and just made speculation. The rule for that non-exclusive franchise tag is get a man the money that he wants, see if the other team can match it. If they can't match it or do not want to, we need to give up 2 first-round picks. And the issue is we don't have 2 first-round picks. We don't
Nope.
have a first-round pick this year. It will be next year and the year after that. And I don't believe that the way that rule is set up, it allows you to do that.
Yeah.
So-
it doesn't.
The other thing is there's no way he doesn't fit our system. And I don't need Kyle Shanahan running his ass into the ground. I know he likes to run, but that doesn't make sense. And I just don't understand why anyone would want him to come here. It's not like I don't feel like he makes the team better. I feel like it's confusing and it's worse, for him to be here. And like people saying trade, there is no trade. It's a sign and trade. And the 49ers are way too damn frugal. They ain't about to get that man $200 million guaranteed. You out your fucking mind if you think that's
Preach it,
happening.
brother. Preach
Not
it.
the, not
Hey.
with Barack Obama at the helm.
And side note, nobody's giving him that.
Hey,
like,
the Ravens
nobody's
aren't,
giving him-
dude. The whole point of this is the Ravens are like, oh yeah, DeMar, you think you're worth that? Go see. And every team's like, yeah, no, we're not playing this
Yeah,
stupid
we're
game.
not.
Everybody
And the
blamed the
Ravens would be like-
shitty ass Browns for this.
Yeah,
Yep.
but then the Ravens are like, see, we told you that you're not worth that. This is what we're gonna pay you. You're gonna take it, or you're shit out of luck. So
I'm
either
out of the
take it or
loop.
leave it.
Explain how the
I
Browns
also
messes
think
up. Correct me.
The Browns?
Let me know.
also
Because of-
because
they
the
gave
Browns
us
are the
a
ones that
program.
gave Deshaun
gave
Watson all
Deshaun
that
Watson.
money.
Because they gave Watson
And-
all that money,
250.
yeah.
They guaranteed his contract.
The first
Like-
time ever to guarantee all that money
Yeah.
to a position player.
Yeah, there you go.
I can tell you this
And-
too.
and-
the one
and
thing
one
that
that
I
hasn't
think
proven
about
shit.
that's messed up is the fact that when you look at the overall situation, the owners came together and were like, fuck this, we're not allowing this. Because why
Yep.
would so many teams randomly be out on Lamar Jackson who is a really good quarterback, who does have dual threat ability. But why would all these teams magically come out right after this tag is placed on him and go, we're not going to pursue him?
Well, I'll tell
That's
you
the
why.
owners coming
It's
together and
because
saying,
I don't think it's the
we're
owners
not
coming
giving
together.
up that fucking money.
No,
That's the whole
they're not
point.
playing the Ravens.
It's not the
They're
it's
not
not
playing
the
the
owners
Ravens
coming
game.
together. Now the issue is that nobody's going to pay him all that guaranteed money that just because they don't want to. Like they don't want to pay all that guaranteed money and give two first round picks. No, they're not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. And I don't understand why people are saying collusion because this is the thing. Fans want what they want, right? I tweeted this out earlier today. Fans what they want what they want, but it's not their money. It's the owner's money, and no owner is going to want to give all that guaranteed cash to to anybody. To be honest, not in football. This isn't the NBA. Like the odds of people getting hurt in the NFL are a lot higher in the and they have way more people to pay. So it is what it is. You play football, you're not going to get that level of guaranteed money. It's just the way it goes.
I have to disagree with you on the fact that it's not collusion because owners talk. You think that put it like this? You think any of the owners actually like Daniel Snyder? No,
Hell
they
no.
tolerate it because he's one of them. So they had to deal with his ass. But I can tell you this: these owners most likely took that as a challenge and a slap in the face when a lot of the players started to try to do the shit that they did. They want their guaranteed money. They would like it to be higher. They are basically saying, hey, I'm not playing if you're not paying. Like, all those things come into play. These owners are businessmen, and they're very shrewd businessmen. So why would they not come together and say, hey, man, we're going to have to band together and show these motherfuckers we ain't playing and we about business. And business dictates that there's only a small margin for error and a small margin for us to pay you, but we're not giving you what you think you're worth. We're going to come together and make sure that you understand that your worth ain't that, and we're not giving up that money because when Lamar gets it, then the next quarterback that's up for a contract is going to want it, i.e. your Justin Herberts of the world and guys like that. So that's the main reason why I think that they're doing that is because it only makes sense for them from a business standpoint.
Yeah,
but it only makes business. It only makes sense for them from a business standpoint, which is the reason why it's not collusion, is because it doesn't make any sense for any of them to do it. So like they don't even need to collude. Like there's no like they probably asked each other, you know, what? Hey, are you even thinking? Nah, I ain't doing that. Like for
it
what?
Doesn't benefit the owners. Why would
it doesn't like, why would any of them do that? And Cleveland is going to see why they should not have done that in the next year or two. They're gonna see why they shouldn't have done that in the first, because then they're gonna have problems keeping their guys, all that stuff, because all that stuff is gonna be touching their cap, and there's no way to kick that can down the road because you can only do it so much.
So I wouldn't say the owner's even involved. I think the Ravens are playing a game, and a lot of the other teams aren't playing that game. Like the other franchises are aware of what the Ravens are trying to do, and they just said, you know what, we're not playing that game because
that's
the Ravens
owners,
are like, well, yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. They're not colluding. They're not colluding with it.
It's just
smart business. They know that if one team bites, the next team's going to have to bite the next team, and before you know it, the players are going to control.
What I mean is the whole point of this, the Ravens are just trying to show Lamar that he's full of it, and the other teams know this, so they're like, we're not going to make an offer and make a big deal, and we're going to get him in the first place, because the Ravens are never going to allow any team to actually get him. I
think Baltimore is just. Lefty, I think Baltimore's just sitting back saying, look, you know, we'll let the market determine what you're worth.
Exactly.
And then we'll just, if the market determines that you're worth less than $200 million, then they may consider just keeping him. Am I wrong?
No.
That's what they were. I think they were planning on keeping
him. I don't understand. I think they want to keep him. I just don't think that they're willing. Look, you guys said it. The Browns set the market at a obnoxious price. Like 31 other teams are looking at this at Cleveland like you are historically shit.
Yep.
You are historically terrible businessmen.
Yeah.
We don't even value quarterbacks at $230 million fully guaranteed right now. You know, and now you have just moved the market in a direction that the owners weren't willing to go with a salary cap that keeps increasing. You're screwing us. Essentially, you're screwing it. Look, here's my question, Pete. This was for you.
Yeah.
If Deshaun Watson essentially plays like dog shit, right? If he becomes dog water, now that contract is fully guaranteed. Would you guys imagine that there's an out for Cleveland somewhere in between? There would have to be. No,
there's not.
Yeah,
No, there's not. It's fully guaranteed.
Guaranteed, yeah.
See, Cleveland.
That was why it was such a groundbreaking. It was such a groundbreaking contract, and but the whole thing, and that's why the owners were so angry, and they were purportedly angry, like they were publicly angry about that contract, just because, like, why would you do that? We don't do that here. We don't do that here. So why would you even broach that subject?
Yeah, because it hurt all the 31 teams. Now you got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson that can say, "Listen, I have no legal issues. I'm not having girls no claims against me. I play good football." If Deshaun Watson can get that with those allegations and with the shit that he's going through, if he can get that type of contract, why can't I? And that's what these quarterbacks starting to look at. And it's not unfair for Lamar, he wants his money, but it's where the owners are like, shit, what the hell did Cleveland do? Did you just set up the bar so damn high? Now we're behind you guys cleaning up this shit, and we don't like it.
I think these kind of contracts are actually going to start to come. It's just it came a little early with Deshaun, and Lamar's not the kind of quarterback that's going to get that contract. His style of play is not sustainable for a long period of time. You're not going to give him that kind of money, that kind of contract.
Yeah, but he's sustained
now
this he has sustained this level of play.
Okay, but he's not going to. It's going to start to deteriorate because he's a runner. Like, that's his game. That deteriorates a lot quicker than being able to pass the ball. Hence why running backs are short-lived.
Lefty, I respectively
and he's already injury prone. He's injury prone. He's taken injuries to legs, which make him his money. So he's not the kind of quarterback that's going to get that money. But just wait until Burrow's contract comes up. He's going to get that money. He's gonna break the market wide open. Just wait. Burrow's going to be the one to do it because he deserves that contract.
Do you believe that the system in Baltimore is effective for the long term? I mean, you're saying his body. I mean, you're saying his style of play is not sustainable for the long haul. But what if I asked you, do you believe the scheme in Baltimore is sustainable in the long haul? What if you put him in a different system?
You can try to put him in a different system, but he's not the best thrower of the football. That's still his biggest weakness.
Is that on him though, or is that because they're utilizing?
That's him. He's not that accurate. But
I've seen him rip it. I've seen him throw.
Oh, he's got crazy arm strength. He's got some crazy arm strength. I'm not taking away from that, but his accuracy is.
I've seen him throw some dimes, bro.
His biggest weakness, but he's not consistently accurate. There's so many times he throws. You can just watch watch him in one game as each throw is different than the other, and his accuracy isn't as good. That's his biggest knock. So yeah, I get like the people say that his scheme might hinder him, but I think that the scheme is that way because that's the best way he's going to succeed in the NFL. I know because with his legs. I think with his legs though, his legs made him that.
But
MVP.
His legs is part of.
I'm not trusting Lamar Jackson if I'm deep in a game. In an important game at the end of a game, and I need him to drive down and make all the throws to win a game. If he's not able to use his legs, and I need him to stand in the pocket and win a game, I'm not trusting him to do that.
Listen, we haven't had a quarterback that can make all the throws, and we still made it quite far. My point being is,
I know, but
I'm not saying we don't bring Lamar to San Francisco. I'm not saying that. No. The argument strictly if we're talking strictly Lamar Jackson and his skill set, I do believe that he'll find success somewhere else. I do believe that. I do.
Well, I'm not saying I'm just saying he's not worth the money he's asking. That's where I'm going with this. Like that's why he's not getting the money.
I think that
my reasoning.
Will be.
You're basing that only because his ability. Go ahead, Mike.
Look, here's my. I want to ask you guys this question. I want to go back on the Deshaun Watson thing. I understand that it's a fully guaranteed contract and there's no out. But if Deshaun Watson fails, does it reset the market? Because he can no longer be the example, right? He failed at a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. If he fails, okay, does it reset the quarterback market in favor of 31 other
Yes. Yes.
Burrow's going to
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I'm
I
counting
already
on
think
I'm
I
actually
already think that
counting
the owners have decided that it's going to be in their favor regardless.
But I still think
I don't think the
Yep.
reality is these guys keep their money for a reason. They don't just spend because they think it's the right thing to do. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the players are employees to them. And the reality is they're going to pay what they have to, but they're not going to pay a dime more.
Burrow's going to get a crazy contract. Watch.
Well,
I don't think so.
It's going to.
here's my thing too, though. Like, if I'm correct, he gets injured kind of easy too. If you think about it.
Well, I mean, he'd missed 10 games in the last 2 years. He's missed.
He's
10
more
games.
prone to injury because of running ability. But let me say,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ravens are going to pay him. Somebody's going to offer him a contract because there are so many teams out there that are hungry and they don't have that elite quarterback. The Niners, listen, if the Niners had Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, we already had 2 Super Bowls by now? And what are we lacking in? It's a freaking quarterback. There's teams out there that are hungry for a quarterback. They will pay or make an offer sheet for Lamar because Lamar does give him the opportunity to win. And Ravens are going to match it. They're not going to let him go out the door. And whether you guys think he's worth it or not, because he's not a pocket passer, he's more of a mobile quarterback, but he's valued if you built a system around him like Baltimore has. And Baltimore can't afford to lose him because that system they took years to build. They built it for Lamar. They put a different quarterback in there. Now they got to reset the whole button on their offense, and it's not.
They're already resetting their offense because Greg Roman's not there anymore.
Well, I don't think that Greg Roman was the reason they put that offense together. That's why they let him go.
Greg Roman did the same thing for Kaepernick, and Lamar Jackson's just a better version of Kaepernick.
And a better thrower, for sure.
I'm just saying he's a better version. He's a better version of Kaepernick. He's just a little bit better version of Kaepernick.
But don't you guys agree that there'll be a team out there that would pay for Lamar services because they're hungry for a quarterback?
I think that they would pay him, but the problem is that I don't think that he's going to get the offer. There's not going to be offer sheets like that because they know that the Ravens can match, and then they have to give them 2 first-rounders on top of that.
That's why the Ravens did it, because they know nobody's actually going to do it. They're just
nobody's going to. I see.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think they're more trying to prove to Lamar by. I think they're willing to tell Lamar, look, let the market determine your value. Come back to the table. We'll talk, or we won't. Right? Or do you guys believe that it's that relationship is broken?
No.
I think he's going to stay a Raven. I 100%.
I think he's going to stay a Raven.
What I heard from coming out of the combine is John Harbaugh really, really loves Lamar Jackson. But you're right, John. It's like those that have kids. Sometimes you try to teach a kid a lesson, and they don't want to learn it. And sometimes you got to just let them figure it out on their own for them to actually understand what you're saying. And then the light turns on. I think what they're doing with Lamar says, you don't believe that you're not going to get that amount of money out there. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and look for it. And once Lamar says, like, shit, nobody's offering me nothing that I want, then he's understand, okay, it's not the Baltimore Ravens just out to get me. I can't really get this money elsewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and sign here.
Right.
And I think they're just letting Lamar do it because you're right. I just thought about it when you guys mentioned about nobody's going to make that offer because if they lose that offer sheet, they have to give up two number ones. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. But just for clarification, Deshaun Watson's cap hit for starting this coming year and until 2026, his cap hit is $54,993,000. So pretty much 55 million every year.
A lot.
Now the cap is going to go up. It's supposed to explode. It's exploding this season. It's going to go up again next season. It's probably going to go up every year. But I don't think that 55 million a year is ever going to be a deal.
No.
Like,
I don't know what the Browns were thinking. I mean, I know they were hungry for a quarterback, but what were you thinking by me giving that guaranteed?
That's crazy.
Especially to someone like Deshaun Watson that has some issues.
They got worked on that deal.
The thing is Deshaun ever going to be the old Deshaun, or is he just a basket case now, a head case now?
Well, will they be able to put? Will be they? Because you saw pieces. They're losing pieces because they can't afford to keep guys. So like, can they put guys around? Can they draft well enough to put guys around him? Because that's what it's going to take. They're going to have to hit on those late picks like the 49ers have been, and and I don't know that they can do that.
Yeah, so Chubb could be on his way out the door, right? You could be moving him.
Oh, they're definitely not paying Chubb.
Chubb, I heard
crazy,
that
right? I mean, that's
Amari Toomer. They're trading him.
Yeah.
So
Amari Cooper.
Cooper. Sorry, Amari Cooper. Yeah. They're trading him. Dallas is trying to get him back. Dallas is another joke.
Oh, that shit show! The shit show of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so that it's an interesting topic with the Lamar Jackson. Let's see what happens. It's gonna, the next week or so is going to be definitely very, very interesting. Let's change the direction a little bit. Let me ask you guys in the panel, and who do you think the Niners are truly? Not don't respond this as a fan. Respond this. Trying to respond that as an owner of a team or a business. Do you guys think the Niners will make a big splash this offseason free agency, or do you think they're going to be more conservative and they're going to work the draft more than free agency?
It's all about tweaking now.
Yeah,
it's all about tweaking now.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with Rob.
You gotta.
I agree.
You gotta twist those contracts up.
Yeah.
You gotta restructure them deals. On top of that, basically to create the cap space. But we don't make big splashes in free agency.
That's a very key note. Yes.
Big splash in agency was D Ford and Quan Alexander.
And how those work out?
I mean, it's nice that we signed Mooney,
and that one worked out.
But Mooney,
that was because we were losers.
Did anybody know who Mooney was?
No. I'm pretty sure there's a few, but not many.
But not they didn't consider him he wasn't the top choice. He wasn't the top free agent. Like it was supposed to be JC Jackson. Which didn't work out.
Although he
well
played better
than
him.
Yeah.
So that worked out for us.
I'll tell you what, Dion, I didn't know until Scott, our buddy Scott from over at the KC pod. Once he had a reaction, I'm like, damn, I didn't know who Charvarius Ward was, but his reaction was, you guys got a stud. And I'm like, great. Mm-hmm. I can't wait, because I really didn't pay attention to him much,
Same
I really
here.
didn't.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't pay attention to him. I never knew who he was until we signed him. But I could tell
he wasn't a splash player.
Like, the 49ers don't get those dudes. They don't go get the JC Jacksons and the top name free agents. They never have. It's just not their thing. Like, to be honest,
how can we? We're paying guys at the top of their position right now. We really are no position.
No, I'm not saying that we can. I'm just saying they just don't. It's not. Since John and Kyle have been here, it's not their thing. They never make big splashes in free agency. Where they make their money is in the draft in the later rounds.
And developing.
Because
I like
our first round picks have not panned out very well.
No.
Lance, unfortunately, hasn't even been able to get on the field and stay on the field. Kinlaw is just a complete bust. I'm sorry, I'm calling that. I have no faith that he can stay healthy and stay on the goddamn field. And I mean,
the only one that's planning out is a Uke so far.
And Bosa. Ayuk and Bosa.
You know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
and okay, Bosa's balling, but I mean, look at his last name. Look at his family. Like we expected that shit. So I mean, you got. I'll say 1.5 because Armstead ain't balling to a point where I can count him as a whole person.
Don't be
Not
hating
in the
on my
And
double
guy.
Ayuk is
sack
just
zone,
improving.
so-
Ayuk is doing nothing but improving.
Yeah, now
Armstead's
you
been
can just
pretty
Each
slowly.
year, he
He's
just needs to get the ball
gradually,
more.
he's gradually on an upward swing.
But that's what it is the
I guess you
they
could say
choose.
they've had three hits and 3 misses.
But that's what it is, though. Is that it's the culture is that they pay their guys. They pay their guys. They don't go. They don't want to bring in people from the outside like the big names and all. They don't need to. They draft their guys. They coach them up, and then they pay the guys that they got in the building. Like
Because they're familiar with them. They know what they do good and what they don't. When you take a chance on someone, now look at they brought on D Ford because his production in Kansas City. But and I understand it was injury, wasn't because he wasn't good, but sometimes you can miss and on these high price. Look at the Rams. They always bring in high free agents and and they planned out from one title. And I always tell Ram fans this: how much is that title going to cost you guys in the long run? Yeah, you got your title and good for you guys. Pat yourself in the back if you want. But now your whole team is falling apart and we're starting to see it already.
Now they're trying to trade Stafford too.
Yeah. And the Rams fans are they're in denial. Oh no, we're just a couple of key players away. Now when you're losing half of them because you can't afford to pay them. So I hope that one ring was worth it. Now let me ask you guys this, and we'll get back to our previous question. Do you think it's worth it to give all that up for one title and then suck for a couple of years? Or do you think you want to be always consistent, not make it there yet, but be consistent every year?
Give me a title and I'm happy for
one.
fucking 10
Yeah,
years.
give me a title. I stay in
Give me a
Atlanta
title.
right now,
Ah,
and they have
shit,
no
I'll take it.
title. And trust me, it's
So
a
title and then
terrible,
suck for the
it's
next
a
10
terrible
years.
situation when you can't brag about your city ever winning. Trust me. And I laugh at Falcon fans here every day just because I'm here and I'm like, you guys have never won. So, to see the collapses that have happened to them here in Atlanta, absolutely. So I know how that feels, and I know how it looks to them.
I'm
We can
greedy. I
understand-
want it all.
I'm cool with it.
Hold on.
I
can
want
understand.
it all. I want sustained success,
See, I'm
and I want
spoiled.
it, and I want a
all
Super Bowl.
5 Super Bowls. So
I want
But
both.
I can understand the Falcons' pain because Kyle did to them the same he did to us in the Super Bowl. So I get it. He fucking
How
dropped
did-
the ball
how
at
did-
the end of the game.
wasn't it more the
Me
Falcons
personally,
defense?
I would love this. I would love a Super Bowl. And the reason is that I mean, shit. I don't give a fuck about the consistency. You can be consistent and remain competitive. That don't mean shit. At the end of the day, your job as an organization is to go out and win a fucking Super Bowl. From the worst team to the best team in the league. Your job every year, your plan, like when you play Madden, they tell you to set an expectation for the year. It's to win the Super Bowl. That will never change. That is the whole point of your organization's existence. To be the best, to be on top. So I'll take the fucking Super Bowl ring and maybe I might suck for another year or two. But hey, I'm going to re-up, try to figure it out, and make it happen again. But the Rams are basically winding up broke, and they got to get rid of everybody and their mama. Why? Because they overspent. If you do it in a way that doesn't hinder you financially, you might be able to pull it off and sustain that for at least maybe 2 years tops. But it's a situation where they handicapped themselves with the amount of money they were giving people. So that's the reason why they wound up looking stupid this year, even though, most of the Rams fans think that, they get to talk shit because they won their funky little title. It's like, that's cute, but you motherfuckers ain't won shit. You had the worst start. You had the worst year of any Super Bowl winner from, that previous year. So while you boastful and braggadocious about your little punk-ass Super Bowl, you still look like shit. And with everybody that you're moving, you cannot sustain a winning formula because what you gonna do? Get rid of Stafford and sign Baker Mayfield? That motherfucker ain't taking you nowhere. He is not taking you to a fucking Super Bowl. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen.
And then they signed Allen, that receiver. I forgot what the contract was, and then now they're trading him, but they're going to be in debt with debt money for him, and it's like, how do you run a business? I mean, like you said, Dion, you run your title, and they got their title, and that's all they can do is throw that title in people's faces. But that title's going to get old eventually, and you want to be competitive. But I understand how all the Niner fans, especially the younger generation, they want a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because they want to be
so bad.
Want that chip so bad, dude.
30 years of pain.
I've seen all my other teams win a chip. I just need to see the Niners to win one now in my lifetime.
Same.
Yeah, but it hasn't been recently.
I gotta get going, guys, but I appreciate you guys having me on. Like, I can't wait to do this again with you guys.
All right, Pete, take care, man.
Always, Pete.
Thanks for coming on, Pete.
Pete, always a pleasure.
All right,
yeah,
Pete.
for sure.
Later,
Yeah,
Pete.
talk to y'all later.
Laters.
You know, I agree with Pete, though. I think I'd prefer sustained success, right? Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They've done it. They've been to 3, 1, 2 in the last 4 years, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And the influence from players doesn't mean a damn thing, because they got Clark who looks at Andy Reid like a father figure, right? Like, but Andy Reid's just cutting loose, bro. Like, it's kind of like the Belichick situation, right? Like, we don't just keep you around because we love you and you're a fan favorite. We can either afford you or we can't. We win a championship, we cut off a few limbs, and we keep chucking forward, right? And Kansas City won a Super Bowl with what? Average receivers at best.
Yep.
I mean, it's just I'd rather have sustained success. I'd rather win one, cut a few guys loose, reload.
To be fair,
replenish to the draft and then get back to a few years.
We should have. Hold on, Brandon. To be fair, we should have had the sustained success we're talking about. We should have had, because we should have witnessed 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years.
At least 2.
Yeah,
we have.
We did
witness 2 Super Bowl wins.
We saw 2012.
2 wins. 2 Super Bowl wins.
Right.
We should have won both games. So we should have won both games, and just dumbass play calling, whatever, freaking bad decisions cost us those games.
And
it is what it is.
We have the key pieces. This all falls back on the QB position.
This year completely is the QB position. So that's why
even with Jimmy Garoppolo in 2019, and freaking, was it 2021? Same thing again with Jimmy G. Stupid play, right? Missed the freaking Super Bowl. And then this year it was injuries for our quarterback position. We've never seen that happen.
We're just an elite quarterback away from.
Yeah,
seriously,
we're an elite quarterback away from sustained success. Like, if we would have.
Oh yeah.
It's just
look at Andy Reid, John.
We don't even need a lead. We just need top 10.
We don't need a lead. I honestly felt comfortable rolling with Purdy from this time on until he got the injury to his elbow, which I worry if he's going to be the same player
in Kyle's
when he
system,
comes
you
back.
don't need an elite quarterback, but you need a consistent one that can stay.
That's why I like Purdy, and I think he would have been a perfect fit.
Plus that elbow injury, people are like, oh, is he going to be injury prone? That's how stupid some people are. Like, no, it doesn't happen all the time. It was just a rare injury that he got, man.
It's just, can he come back from it
and be himself again? Yeah.
You know what I would call Purdy? I would call Purdy, his comparison, he's Kirk Cousins, but who can win in big games. That's the difference. He's
Kirk Cousins doesn't have the same mobility though.
He's Kirk Cousins, but Purdy has that dog in him that can win big games that matter.
Do you guys think Andy Reid is a good coach?
He's one of the best coaches ever.
He's absolutely one of my favorite ever.
Now, prior to Patrick Mahomes,
fantastic.
Yeah, prior to Patrick Mahomes, he was that Kyle Shanahan.
He had Alex Smith.
He was getting to the championships. He got to a Super Bowl, but lost. He just couldn't get over the hump like Kyle is right now.
Yeah, he couldn't get over the hump.
No, but once Patrick Mahomes came in and did his thing, boom. Now he has 2 Super Bowls, and I agree. I think if Trey Lance can obviously be the quarterback that we hope he can be, or Brock can sustain and continue to do better, I think we can get our Super Bowl. Because I like our scheme. I love our coach. I love our general manager. I love the way they built the team. I love the roster that we have. We just have to have that consistent quarterback. And I don't care what people say. People can argue me all they want. If Brock wouldn't have got hurt, we definitely would have beat Philadelphia. And I think we had a very good chance against Kansas City because we played them before. And I think Brock would have could have kept up with Patrick Mahomes. Just my opinion because of our defense.
I think we would have won the Super Bowl if Brock stayed healthy. I'm fully behind Brock. I'm cool rolling with Lance, but I think Brock fits Kyle's.
So no more Baker Mayfield for you?
Well, I was on Baker Mayfield because I still think he could have won. He could have won the Super Bowl. We could have won the Super Bowl with him. Like,
but you think Mayfield would have been able to beat Mahomes though?
Yeah, in our offense, he would have been perfect in our offense.
See, that's the key thing that he's Christian is saying in our offense. I don't know individually.
In our offense,
I think he would do every Sunday. And I
think in our offense, he would have been fine because our offense is not one where you have to throw it to a certain receiver. You find the open guy. Kyle tells you where the open guy is going to be, and I think Baker Mayfield actually excels at that. As soon as he got had what's his name?
We got the Rams fan talking.
What's his name? The receiver. I'm having a blank. The Giants receiver. What's his name? Freaking Odell Beckham. As soon as he got Beckham, he started playing worse because Beckham's all about give me the ball. And when Baker started forcing the ball all the time, it really started hurting his game. I just think had he played in our offense, had we had gotten him, whatever, I think we would have had a good chance because I just think he would have fit perfectly good in Kyle's offense. That's just. I'm not saying like sustained if we wanted to keep him every year, but I think where we were at in the season. I think he could have taken that offense with how good that defense was, and we could have won the Super Bowl.
John, a quick question
about a lot of quarterbacks.
Do you think Brock can take us to the promised land?
Man, Beto, I just feel like the body of work that Purdy has put out is we just don't know. Like, we don't know if Purdy could win a shootout versus Jalen Hurts. We don't know that. We don't know that. We know that we had better chances. We know that we had a good chance, but there's still not enough out there that convinces me that Purdy could make every single throw through a 17-week season and sustain that for 17 weeks. He was popular. He won us 8 straight. But I don't know that we would have needed to see it more consecutive, right? Like, we need to see him put together a season. And then if Trey's not the guy and Purdy's the guy, we need to see Brock Purdy, sustain that full season and then put together another season after that, regardless of how that season rolls, right?
Correct.
If do I believe that we had a good chance to compete versus Philly? I do. Do I think we could have beat Philly? It's a shootout. It was going to take a shootout.
I don't think so.
Look,
Hurts had his worst game probably of the season against our defense. It just looks different because of the point, but we were freaking killing. Our defense was killing their offense. It just didn't look that way because we didn't have a quarterback on our side that could throw the damn ball. We were freaking humiliating that offense. He looked like shit. We made him look like shit. Exactly what we thought. I think we would have whooped their ass if Purdy didn't get it.
No, Kansas City offensive line was really good.
I don't think that we would have whooped their ass. I mean, it could have been a great game.
It would have been a close game.
I don't know. Do you think we could have won?
I think we could have won because honestly, one of my biggest worries in that game was what the DBs were going to do. Especially Lenore was getting a lot of shit, and at times Moody has his breakdowns, his lapses, and when those guys were challenged, they were stepping up to the plate. So I think we had a good shot to win had Purdy played.
Okay, here's a question for you guys right here. Do we agree that healthy Trey Lance has to play the season to find out how he performs?
100%.
Of course.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got to be the guy. But on the topic that you guys were just on, it's for me when I'm looking at everything as a whole, it's real simple. I need to see Brock Purdy versus a better defense. Because when he played against the Cowboys, he didn't look so good. And he wasn't injured then. So I want to see him fight against that adversity and put up the points, win out, and clear everything up. That does take time, over the course of the, games. And in-game reps are what make you better.
I think also too with that Cowboy game, I
Actually,
think in the
excel.
beginning,
I'm not mad at that. I think he would have the opportunity.
yeah.
So
I think for me personally, I think in the beginning of that Cowboy playoff game, I think the nerves finally kicked in for Purdy because he was facing a better defense, and then like in the second half, I feel like he looked better than what he did in the first half.
I like that about him, though. Like
Yeah.
that I enjoyed, because now I saw a young man overcome those factors, right? Like
Mhm.
that's what I
He plays with a lot
really
of
liked
grit.
about Purdy. Purdy played calm. Purdy didn't play with happy feet. He didn't look even if he wasn't looking so hot in that game, Dion, and I understand what you're saying because I remember it, but he didn't sell it, right?
Mhm.
Like
So
he looked more poised. He always looked poised. That's what I respect about this
The
kid.
stage was
That's what I
never
love
too big
about
for
this
him.
kid.
but
It
that's
was
why
never too
is
big.
Purdy's okay. So is that why is Purdy's ceiling Drew Brees? Drew Brees arm strength similar, probably
Lefty, I
similar
just
to
don't
Purdy's.
think we have enough. I don't think
I
we
know,
have
I
enough
know,
to make
but that's what I'm just saying, is that-
distinction. You know what I mean?
because he's similar in stature, he's similar so in size in general, arm strength similar, but the poise is also similar. Like that's why
Yes.
Breeze was such a good quarterback for so long because his
Yep.
poise was just
He made the
Yes.
quick
Fucking amazing.
reads.
most
Yes.
most poised quarterback in the NFL for a long time. And if Purdy can,
I can
that's
tell
what I'm
you
saying,
this.
if Purdy can sustain that, is his ceiling Drew Brees.
I can tell you this on the subject of us beating the Eagles. Yes, we would have beat the Eagles, and yes, I agree, we would have beat the shit out of them. You know why? Because we had both of our receivers come out on national television or any
Yep.
type of podcast, anything. These receivers were like, we were going to eat those DBs alive. And while you can go ahead and try to shoot it out, still, when we played Jalen Hurts, he did not look great, to Lefty's point. But also, the fact that these receivers felt that game plan was that damn solid, that they were
Yes.
going to rip them up, yes, I felt like from that confidence that they exuded, yeah, we would have got off Eagles' ass. No question.
Hey, Purdy was winding up for what would have been a touchdown to Ayuk.
Yeah, you could open. Yeah, he became open on that particular.
That was
play.
a touchdown. That's a touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. As soon as he catches that ball, he's taking.
That's
it
why
for-
the game
Purdy
lost
didn't
was
wait
so
too long.
hurtful.
That was a touchdown for sure.
Mhm.
You're saying he
I'm
waited
not
too
sure
long,
if,
B?
Huh?
Or
He
if the
held it.
block would actually stay
Yeah.
for at least 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think
figure,
if
the
he
one-
would have
the
let
one
go 2
time.
seconds before that injury, I think he wouldn't have gotten hurt, and Ayuk scores that touchdown.
Well, it's not Purdy's fault that he got hurt because they should have blocked for him. But the one thing Purdy's got to work on is his anticipation of the throw.
Well, dude, they put a
Sometimes he
tight
waits
end
for-
on that.
he
freaking
waits-
guy.
No,
Come on.
but
No, I know.
They had
He
put
just-
that same
he does-
tight end
he-
before another.
We've
another-
ran that so
Let me
many
finish.
times, though.
Let me finish though. So Purdy's thing that I would like to see him work on is his anticipating throws, because he does sometimes wait too long for the receiver to get open instead of knowing they're going to be and throwing the ball. But that comes with time and practice, and understanding your receivers better. And he needs more playing time to do that. So, but that's one of his biggest weaknesses.
Well,
So yeah, there's a possibility he could have got the ball out sooner, because if he would have thrown the ball sooner, Ayuk would have been there. They should have held the block for longer than they did and given him more time to throw the ball.
I
Sure.
also think too. I feel like the nerves kicked in again in this game as well, because it's a big game,
Yeah.
it's a championship game. It was the first
Man,
I think
drive.
he was gonna
I
be-
think you just I think you have to get into game rhythm, dude. And I just don't think that Purdy. But I don't blame him for that entirely.
No.
Like I don't even know that it was really nerves. Like Shanahan's system is predicated on timing. Am I wrong?
Yep.
It's predicated on timing.
No, it is
right?
exactly timing. Yes.
It's just the kid didn't get into a rhythm quick enough, but that injury happened so soon, bro.
Yep.
It's like I'm not even mad at the kid for it. We've executed that block before. It was just Hassan Reddick managed to rush the passer. He managed to get 7 yards in less than 3 seconds, or just about. That's insane.
Yeah. And to Purdy's defense, that was a long developing play because Ayuk was deep downfield for that throw. So it's like, yeah, he could have got the ball out sooner, but it was a deep ball.
He was waiting for it to.
Like,
yeah.
So like
that's why his helmet got hurt.
It's a touchdown.
He was just about to release it when he got hit.
That play was Kyle drew that play up to be a touchdown, and that's exactly what it was going to be. The ball didn't come out.
Yeah,
that's just what it just happens. It's football. That happens. Like, if we were stronger on the right side of the field, Purdy probably might not have even been playing this season because the side of the field is where our quarterbacks have gotten hurt.
So on the Brock Purdy situation, if Brock Purdy's getting surgery on Friday and it's going to take about 6 months, let's say everything goes well. He heals up the correct way. There's no setbacks in 6 months. That puts him somewhere like in September, the beginning of September, probably a week after September for him to come back. Let's say Trey Lance is the starter. 2 games in, he plays kind of we win one, we lose one. The third game, he really just stinks it up. By that time, Brock is ready to go. Do you think Kyle has the patience to wait for Trey to continue to develop, or he yanks him out and puts Brock right in?
I think Kyle has full trust in Purdy, so I think he's waiting.
I think he should be patient. I think he should be patient, and I think he should let Trey, make it through those bumps and bruises along the way. But this win now window that they feel so pressured in, and Shanahan's not patient enough.
Thank you, John. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Thank you.
It's not. Trey doesn't have time to develop now, and this is where we failed him and his development, because now he has to come in here and he has to perform and execute.
100% agree.
And he's going to be looking over his shoulder. He's going to be looking over his shoulder because he knows Purdy is going to be, let's say things go the way that, we're 49er fans. Shit don't go the way it should be. So I'm not going to be so sure that this kid doesn't need, a longer time frame. So I'm just going to sit back and just wait. But hypothetically, if Trey, if Purdy is ready to go and he can challenge and compete for that job during camp, I'm going to be straight up. Like, Shanahan smiles and he just gleams with this Purdy kid, and Trey Lance is just not getting that trust. He's never had his trust. And where was the kid supposed to gain it when you just failed his development over and over and over again?
Absolutely.
When you should have moved off Jimmy G and let this kid develop, you kept Jimmy. And you just you pushed the kid back. Now you've got this kid, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's showing out.
Right.
Everybody's in on this kid. We didn't know it. But the team knew it. The team knew that they had a little stud in Brock Purdy. Just Trey just got. If Trey had his opportunity, it wouldn't have mattered how good Brock Purdy was. It just wouldn't have mattered because Trey would have got his development.
He would never get the chance.
He would have just got his development season. He would have got to roll with it.
Yeah.
And he would now Trey has to just come in and perform. And how unfair is that shit?
Very.
Because now you're
but it's terrible.
It's not.
But what's
fair,
terrible,
Trey.
John, is what you're saying. Yeah, because what you're saying right there is like, come on, man. You drafted him, but you still kept Jimmy around, and now everybody wants to rush Trey now. You gave Jimmy 7 years to try and
Yeah.
figure out what he was going to do. You gave, you know what I'm saying? And now Trey, after 4 games, everybody has this conclusion of what he is.
Yeah.
Why did
That's
we have
ridiculous.
this big right? Why
have
did we
no
have
idea
this
what he is.
huge conclusion back when exactly? Why didn't we have this huge conclusion when Jimmy got after 5 games of him getting his big contract? We didn't know what the hell we had back then, but we give him, the blockbuster money deal, and he's the highest paid quarterback back then. But now you guys don't want to hurry. You guys want to rush this process with Trey? It's unfair,
Hey,
man.
dude.
That's
They
just
drafted
unfair.
this kid knowing he was a raw talent. They literally drafted Trey knowing he was a raw talent. And I don't understand what did you take advantage of that raw talent and know that you could push him back? Like I don't know, man. I don't know. In my opinion, honestly, they either overestimated Trey's they over anticipated what Trey could do, and they were stunned by the talent was raw, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, like I'm so disgusted with the way that they've dealt with Trey that like I don't know, man. I don't know how you expect this kid to be what we want him to be. I don't know how they expect him to be who we expect him to be without the reps. It just bothers me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh out loud, but in the private chat, someone made a funny statement. But yeah, I hear you. Trey Lance's opportunity was year 1 to develop. Even last year, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, no blame to Trey, that would have been the year that because they didn't know. They knew somewhat what they had in Brock Purdy, but they didn't know he was going to come in right away and perform the way he did. They thought he would need more development in a year or 2 to get to that point. The fact that he got hurt kind of sucked for Trey because this last year would have been the year that even if he struggled, I don't think they would have put Jimmy in there. I think they would have continued to stick with Trey. Now, a lot of people say, like Ross said with Jimmy, and it's unfair, they gave Jimmy all that time because in reality, who was behind Jimmy that threatened Jimmy? It wasn't Nick Mullins.
Nobody.
It wasn't CJ Beathard. So they had no choice but to put up with Jimmy. Now that they got to see a taste of Brock Purdy and what he can do, unfortunately for Trey, now Kyle's like, I know what I have in Brock. If I don't see what I want to see from Trey, I'm putting in Brock, and that's the unfair part for Trey. So Jimmy was in there longer time because who was going to take his job away?
But Trey should have been taken over Jimmy. When Trey was his rookie year,
I think Trey
was tearing it up in practice. There's a Trey was tearing things up in practice.
But then injuries.
That finger he
happened.
hurt.
Yeah, but the moment he had that injury healed, Fred Warner was just going on saying, "Oh, Trey's tearing it up in practice against the first team defense with his scout team." And then we finally saw him against the Texans, and they played him like a quarterback. He looked good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you listen to Haber and Middlecoff, and they were there, and they said Trey looked like dog shit.
Yep.
They were aware, though. They were aware.
I was listening to Haberman and Middlecoff, and they're telling us Trey didn't look good. Trey didn't look accurate. Trey couldn't make the throws.
Watch the video of Butcher Boy and Bonte Hill from 95.7 The Game. This is minutes after they walked out of training camp. They're yelling and screaming at the camera how much better Trey Lance is than Jimmy. Like I can say that video if you want to see it.
Dude, I know what you're saying because I remember listening to beat writers go in every single day, man. I made it a point to listen, and there was a good day and there was a bad day. And there was a good day and there was a bad day.
No consistency.
This day, Jimmy played so good. Jimmy. Then it was Trey did great.
It sounds like
and Jimmy didn't do so well. And then it was Trey didn't do so well. Jimmy was making throws today. And it was just back and forth. And it was always different. And I'm thinking to myself, God damn it, you're all there at the same place. What the hell are you seeing? You can't tell me on day 3 that Jimmy was great, Trey sucked. And the next guy's like, hey, Trey did great. Jimmy sucked. It's like it was so difficult to follow. Do you guys? I mean, am I losing my mind? Do you guys remember that?
No.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
The difference is though, Trey, obviously he's going to have some bad practices. He's a young quarterback, a rookie with not a lot of playing time in college, so you're going to get that.
Dude, they were
Which
saying that
I
about
think it's
Purdy.
okay. I think it's a part of that with Lance. But if Jimmy's having those issues, he's a freaking veteran. Obviously, that tells
Right.
you Jimmy's trash. If he's doing the same thing that the rookie who's hardly played any college football is, why not play the rookie? Like if your veteran's doing the same dumb shit that your freaking rookie is, you might as well play the rookie who's got more upside.
Absolutely.
You know,
They
that's kind of
should've
where
just
that
got
is.
rid of
You would
Jimmy
expect
year one, bro.
exactly. They fuck Trey from the get go.
They should have traded him.
not just letting
year
him
one.
have.
We
the
would have
team.
got some trade value for him too at that point.
Absolutely.
I know.
Every year we go into this every year about, oh, this is the season, and our window is open, for so many years. Dude, I was 14 last time we won the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these windows keep opening and closing every year. Like, whatever, man. Just give the dude a
downside to
chance.
Kyle Shanahan, and Rod, to your point, the downside of Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they are known not to play rookies because they believe in sitting for a year, redshirting a player and developing for a year. They did it with Banks. Although I didn't see Thomason being moved for a rookie. Unless it's necessary, he will start you out of necessity, not out of want. He likes to go with his veterans. I don't agree with it. I think Jimmy should have been out the door the minute we decided to draft Trey. And, any
Agreed.
team that takes a quarterback that high normally starts his rookie and let him get his bumps and bruises early. Imagine where we would be today if he
This
would
guy
have
in the
started
chat's retarded,
year
by the
one.
way.
See what
All I
I'm
know
saying?
is
Like that's come
ridiculous.
on, man. Like
I
that
think he
doesn't
just
remember
started
the
watching
presser?
football like 5 years ago.
We played this stupid
Do you
game
guys
with-
remember the presser when we moved up to 3? Do you remember what Shanahan was saying? They
No,
shit all over
remind
Jimmy
us.
and his health. They shit all over Jimmy and his ability to be available. They answered all the questions. Why did you move up to 3? Everybody wondered, what the hell are you moving up to 3 for? What are you moving up to 3 for? They told you we moved up to 3 because our quarterback was not capable of being healthy. So, and there were times in those pressers where Shanahan alluded that the guy that they move up to get is going to be the guy moving forward.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yeah,
I do
that's where
remember that.
Kyle,
Yeah, Kyle
bullshit
did.
lied.
This was right before. This wasn't. You didn't even know who the pick at 3 was yet. You just knew
Almost.
that the guy that they're taking at 3 was replacing Jimmy because he was not available. He was not healthy consistently. And that's what they alluded to, right? And then
So
you
does
got
this-
a different
does this-
outcome. They tell you, you get different. They tell you, you get different. They're
So
never
does this-
straight up.
But does this tell you that maybe it was supposed to be Trey? That's not how Kyle actually wanted, and then he got.
No,
told
because
that
I
he's
listened
not
to
allowed
Larry Krueger, who has his ear close to the ground, and Larry said that when John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan drafted Trey Lance, they knew that this kid's ceiling was incredible, but he was a raw talent who needed development, and they were up to the task.
Yeah, and failed.
They were up to the task.
Yeah.
But it just like they know the way Kyle was running, even this last season, the way Kyle was calling plays for Trey didn't seem like he really was helping him develop, in my opinion. But I don't
I'm
know.
not mad at
I
how
don't
you
really-
use Trey. I'm not going to sit here and blame Shanahan for how he used the kid. You're going to use the kid the way you wanted to use the kid. Because if he didn't get hurt on the play that we were all mad at him for doing, it wouldn't have mattered because you would have just used Trey the way he was going to use Trey. Trey Lance is a kid who should be able to run between the tackles. It was an unfortunate injury. I'm not mad at Kyle for it. I'm just not going to blame him for that. Because because you know what? He's not going to use Trey any different. Mark my words. He's not going to use Trey any different this upcoming season. He's going to use him no different.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't. He shouldn't because, Trey just needs to choose the right gap, right? He needs to make the right decision. That
I
was an
don't feel
RPO.
I don't feel like we have to use him as much in the run game because now we have Christian McCaffrey. Now
Yes.
we have Elijah Mitchell. You know
That's
what
fair.
I'm saying? There's
That's
no
fair. I
reason
agree.
Got
to
Debo.
run him as much as we did last year.
The whole reason we all fell in love with Trey was he's got a strong arm. He looks to make the throw when he's on the run, and he can extend the plays with his legs. I didn't like him. I didn't like him because he could run the RPO
Exactly, yeah.
and run with the ball in his hands. That's not why I liked him. I liked him because he could
Yeah,
extend
but
the
Lefty,
plays.
let's be honest with ourselves. We also didn't think about, can Trey make all the underneath intermediate stuff? Like, we knew that he
That's
could throw the
true. He
ball really
struggles with
far. That's all we knew. We knew that we didn't have a quarterback that could throw the deep ball because we lost the Super Bowl because you couldn't throw the deep ball. You couldn't make all of the throws to win a Super Bowl. But what did we not? We knew that Trey could do it. We knew he could throw the deep ball.
Yeah,
but
we
we
forgot
did
about
not
this.
know that he struggled underneath with intermediate. We didn't know he didn't throw with touch. You know, he was throwing missiles, right? We didn't know this shit. That didn't change the way I felt about Trey.
No,
It didn't. I just knew the kid needed reps. I knew that the kid needed to play the game. And we saw growth in the Houston game. We've all said it ad nauseum, right?
Agreed.
There was growth
Agreed,
between
yes.
the first half and the second half. We knew that Trey Lance was a smart, intellectual kid who had a great football IQ, and we knew that he would not make the same mistakes twice. And he proved that to us in the Houston game. He started off rusty, and he corrected everything by the second half. That was growth in one game.
And people
I
forget
still stand
also.
by it.
He did.
Yeah,
he
and
did
people
look good in the
forget that was
Chicago
also
game before the
people
monsoon.
forget that he was on that game against the Texans. That's when the league, or that's when the season is on the line at that time as well.
They had playoff
So for you to
implications.
put
Yeah, it
that in,
was.
exactly. So when you look at that situation, he did, or I say he did look totally different. He unlocked another portion of the playbook. He looked totally different in the second half. So then when you come to this game or this season, first game is in a monsoon. Like, you're not going to open up a playbook in a monsoon. That just doesn't make
Thank you.
sense, period.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
we already
wasn't
expected
his
heavy
fault.
run regardless. Exactly. Then you think about Seattle game. It was raining at the beginning of the game. Granted, he did throw a couple of passes in that game. He was just getting started. So when the injury comes, people say he was supposed to hand off the ball or he wasn't supposed to hand off the ball. It happens. It's part of the game. I don't.
Yep.
Hey,
It is what it
bro.
is.
You guys-
just give
you
the
guys
guys
know
a
what-
chance.
You know what I just realized that we never pointed out? All three of our back injuries this season were all on the first offensive drive of the game. Again, in Seattle, it was the first offensive drive for Trey that he got hurt. Jimmy's was the first offensive drive against Miami. Purdy's was the first offensive drive against the Eagles.
Okay, so from here on out, we're going to run the Wildcat with a running back on our
Yeah.
first offensive drive.
On the
And
first offensive
they
drive,
never
hey.
eliminate the quarterback injury jinx.
Run that fucking motherfucking ball and get past the first drive.
Run CMC is a Wildcat QB, and the first.
Yeah.
watch our running backs get hurt in the first drive.
But
Oh,
okay, hold on. I see this. I see what
Justin
not
Fields
nice.
only had
nice.
that big touchdown because they blew the fucking coverage and let Pettis
Thank
look like
you.
the greatest
Thank
wide
you
receiver in
for
NFL
saying
history.
that.
We
Like,
also
Justin
gave them
Fields
90.
did
game
good.
where you
we
He
gave
wasn't
them
doing
over
shit
90
prior to that
yards.
play. He wasn't doing nothing. Get the
Right,
fuck out
like
of here.
how do you watch
Yes.
it? Shit.
We gave them over 90,
Fields-
90 yards, 98 yards and
One
penalties, bro. We
And
made
penalties.
it easy.
Hey,
We dog walked
Right,
them up
Trey
the field for
Greenlaw,
half
like,
of it.
come on,
You know,
man.
Fields
we
only-
gifted
Fields-
them that fucking game. Are you kidding? And then Debo fumbled in the red zone. Like,
hey, that pass to Pettis, it was a duck. Freaking Fields threw up a duck to a wide open receiver. Like, what do you
Look,
It's not like he's
I
On a busted
totally
play.
support
he
it.
made some
Listen.
fucking sick throws in that game. If you don't know
He
what that is,
did.
and you don't know fuck about football, he made some really fucking difficult throws.
in that first part of the game. Lance looked fucking amazing, but the problem was as soon as the monsoon came, it changed the whole offense. But he
It
was
changed
the
playing
fourth
really
quarter
good.
was the most
Game.
rained
I've
out.
never seen so much
Not any
rain
fucking
in
sport
my
I've
life.
ever watched in my life.
Not to
I've never
mention-
seen a field
not to-
rained out that fucking bad where you couldn't see shit. You couldn't see any detail on the field.
I know.
Nothing.
Not to mention, it's one of the worst fields and oldest fields in the NFL where the
Right.
freaking water doesn't even leak, like drain out of the freaking. Like
Right.
they're playing on fucking. They're like pretty much playing in a
A
shallow
slip and
pool.
slide.
Slip
Yeah.
and slide, a shallow pool, like a little kiddie pool.
But fellas,
Right.
I do respect the fact that your opponent still plays in the same conditions.
yeah,
Right. But I don't believe that is I don't believe that that's the difference, win or lose. Okay, because we just committed so many penalties. We dog walked you up the field. We gave you points. Okay, we blew coverage. We played like dog shit. And I do believe that all the hype going into the offseason, we overlooked Chicago into week 2, into week 3. We totally overlooked our opponent week 1. We totally did. And then you throw in this stupid ass monsoon. Listen, it doesn't.
We overlooked it.
Elijah Mitchell got hurt like early in the game too. Remember that?
Absolutely.
And he was in his bag in that game, dude. He was killing.
And we didn't have a Kittle.
Yeah.
No Kittle.
Every time Mitchell chucks the ball,
You
bam,
know?
5-6 yards, and then Mitchell gets hurt, and the run game goes to shit.
Absolutely.
Y'all
It's
see
so
this
many.
comment?
It's so many factors. It's so many factors that Trey didn't have on his side that people so quick to forget, and then they just call him a bust. And it's like, dude, he never got a chance, man. That's
this mother.
Wow.
Got Jimmy in the back holding an umbrella with that wise ass smile, just looking at you all evil, like, here's me, bro.
Like he did against the.
Go ahead, make a mistake, my man. It's back. It's my ball, bro.
Like he was
I
smiling.
hate that shit.
Yeah, like he was smiling in the Eagles game when Purdy was hurt.
Shut up, Siri.
That's not
I'm
nice.
so glad we're not gonna have to see that fucking grid on the sidelines anymore. Thank
I know,
God,
dude.
man.
I
don't
I
wanna
hope
see it either.
it sucks because I hope the best for Lance, and I'm cool if he freaking can take us. But I am still a huge fan of Purdy. But
Right.
I'm just gonna roll with it because when it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, I think the Niners are obviously going to build mostly in the draft, bring in a couple of guys to fit in here and there, because we have a team that can win a Super Bowl, but it 100% relies on our quarterback play.
Just
which scares
as
the
long
living
as both
shit out of me.
quarterbacks get a fair chance to compete against each other, and the best man wins, and the best man is a legit franchise QB, I'm perfectly fine with whoever it is. That's all. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. Me too. Same here.
All right,
It's
guys.
a fair point. It's a fair point, 187. I get it, man. He made plays. There's no doubt. I understand.
Yeah, because we kept extending their drives. We stopped
But
his ass, and he wasn't
we
making.
never
plays.
took them off
Look at
the
his
field,
stat line.
right?
Field's stat line wasn't shit in that game. Minus that stupid fucking Pettis play. We stopped his ass so many fucking times, and the defense kept fucking making retarded ass penalties.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
I mean, ultimately, we shot ourselves in the foot week 1. I'm
Oh,
not going to
yeah,
blame
we
it
did.
on the weather. I'm just going to tell you straight up.
We shot
We
ourselves
shot
in
ourselves
the
in the
foot.
foot.
bro.
We played like dog
Absolutely.
shit. Defensively, that wasn't the beginning of a number 1 defense in the NFL.
Nope.
That was that was the beginning of, we got to get our shit together. This is week 1.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got to get it right. We looked like
Right.
dog shit week 2. We didn't look right. We didn't look. We were like a
I
shell
was
of
going to say this
ourselves.
whole thing about Trey getting the start now. I mean, Shanahan knows this. Our teams get off the shitty starts during the NFL season. They just do, but we find ways to overcome it. So I mean, if Trey stinks it up one freaking game, I don't think he's going to get pulled right away. It's going to have to be consecutive games of him stinking it up to
Yeah.
be like, okay,
I think
let me see who's
it might have to
available.
be the first half of the season, possibly.
Because Jimmy had a fucking long leash, dude. I'm sorry, he stuck it up so many.
That's
fucking
exactly
times,
what I'm
dude.
thinking.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey, but
Speak
he
on
won
it.
his games.
Let's hope that Lance is just the type of person naturally that when his back's to the wall and there's pressure, he plays better.
I think he
There
will.
are.
Yeah.
Let's just
Hey,
hope that he's that
187.
kind of player.
What about the Denver Bronco game? What about the Denver Bronco game? Perfect weather conditions. That didn't fucking cost us home field advantage.
That's what cost us.
Tell me.
Exactly.
It did.
I mean, we can pick out the games, man. The Atlanta game, we didn't have to lose the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Nope.
We didn't have to lose. We didn't have to lose versus Denver, but we did. We still
We lost
found
all the
we
shit
still
teams.
found ourselves in the NFC Championship game.
Yep. Second
It's-
time in a row.
Dude, the defense balled the fuck out in Denver, and here we are giving them a free 2 points.
And a safety in one play.
Yeah, it could have been a pick 6 actually. Yeah, it could have been a free
Pick
7
We're gonna
points.
pick
What
eight.
do we call it? What do we call it? A pick 8 because
Yeah,
it
pick
was like
eight.
he threw a
Yep.
See,
pick,
That's
pulled
why-
the
goal
Daniel
line, like
Orlovsky.
stepped out and threw it on the goal line.
That kind of play.
God.
That kind of play is why we drafted Trey, because Trey could use his legs and probably get a first down instead of fucking doing what Jimmy did.
Wow.
Right? Am I right?
Jimmy gets a 7-year pass, but this guy only gets 4 games.
Dude, I am gonna
Make
be
it
so
make
happy
sense,
when he's
man.
off the team, dude.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I hate some of our fans sometimes with how much hate they
Jimmy
have on
sucks,
Drake.
dude. Fuck Jimmy.
Hey, you never know. Maybe
No.
Trey comes out of this and kicks ass next season, and who knows?
We would hope.
don't
So.
know.
The
I
only
would
thing,
love for
the
that
only
to
thing
happen.
Trey is missing is playing time.
Yeah,
he has the
that's it.
skill set. He has
That's
the
it.
body, everything. He just
Because
needs to have the reps. And
to be fair, we don't know what Purdy's going to look like coming off an injury like this. So you're throwing elbow,
Absolutely.
Yep.
no
Yep,
fucking
correct.
clue. We don't know what it's going to do to his psyche. We have no clue.
Yeah, but, I mean, we could also say the same thing. What if Purdy didn't sustain the injury and he just came out the second season stale?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
what
Yep.
if he
You
just,
never
what
know.
if he
Yep.
just came out stale? Like, you know, the league doesn't take a long time to figure you out, right? So it's just to me, it's we're always in unfortunate circumstances when it comes to the quarterback position because
We haven't had
this
good
team
ones.
just doesn't value the quarterback position. And
We
when
haven't
we do, we don't develop you. We moved all the way up. We spent capital that honestly, if you were so hard up for Jimmy, you should have never moved up and made the move at 3 because all you did was create a disaster that soon carried 2 seasons. Okay.
Mhm.
And now Trey Lance has always had that backup quarterback looking right at the back of his head. My man has not had an opportunity yet to play the game peacefully. He has not had an opportunity to just do his thing and have the full trust of Kyle Shanahan in the front office to let me cook. No. The moment that I
really-
shit the bed, these guys are ready to move on the last pick, the 7th rounder, right? It's such an unfortunate circumstance, man, for Trey.
He said he's willing to
It's-
compete, though. He said he's looking to compete.
Hey,
so
you-
maybe it's a better thing for him to have
Maybe
a
it is.
challenge, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just for his benefit.
You
maybe
know
that's
what's
what
sad?
Trey needed
should be.
is someone that can come from behind and
Yeah.
take away his job and
You
not
know
just
what's-
give it to him to inspire him.
You know what's sad though? Going off like developing a quarterback. Do you know who the last actual legitimate quarterback we developed, like this franchise developed?
That mess. That's true, Joey.
What
I'm
Joey
sorry.
said.
Say it and go ahead, say it.
What everyone thought was the
Mo-
best scenario for Trey at the draft ended up being the worst.
No, but what you were saying, Christian.
Oh, Montana is the last legitimate quarterback we developed.
Oh, we developed Steve Young.
No, because he was already
He wasn't developed when we had him.
but he was already in the league. I guess you
No,
can-
He was in the league, but he said he was so erratic in Tampa
we
Bay.
made him an
man.
accurate passer. He was just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
runner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
we
Well, that's
developed
fair.
him.
That's
He
fair then,
became a
because like
pocket
I was
passer.
going off like we drafted Montana.
Yeah, I mean, even though Steve Young played in the USFL and he was successful there, when he went to the Bay, he was just running around all over the place. And okay, he was on a
Exactly.
shitty team, I get it, but once he got to the Niners, he actually really became a quarterback.
I mean, that's
Developed.
true.
He became a pocket quarterback. He
That's because
developed
Bill
it.
Walsh.
Yeah.
That's because
'Cause I was with Holm-
Great one.
Mike Holmgren.
Holmgren was a
Yeah,
part of it,
Holmgren.
you know.
Well, Bill Walsh.
Yeah,
is just-
And
Holmgren.
they developed somewhat Jeff Garcia.
And just Montana being there was a part of it. He got to watch the greatest quarterback of all time every day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like you think about it, after all these years, the last great quarterback we've had was Steve Young. That's how long it's been.
Mm-hmm.
20
And
Well,
Garcia
he
had
won
a
a
little
Super
run.
Bowl,
He was
yes.
all right.
Jeff Garcia was the last. I think Jeff Garcia was the last best
I
quarterback.
think Garcia was the last one too. Garcia actually was a lot better than people give him credit for. Now that he's gone, he actually was balling.
He was pretty good. He played with a lot of heart too, and he had a
He
damn
was
good
balling,
arm.
but we didn't like that first year. He did
we
really,
just didn't
really
have
well.
a defense.
The first year he did really, really well. He put up over 4,000 yards. We had a weak defense.
Yep.
And on top of that,
Right.
well, sure, we had Rice and T.O. I get that, but after Rice left, we didn't really do much. It was like Ty Streets.
Drunken Miller. Get out
Ty
of here.
Streets, yeah, and he wasn't really all
Brandon
that.
Lloyd.
Yeah, we just didn't really surround T.O. with enough talent, in my opinion,
Yeah.
to help out Garcia. But they could have possibly did something. It was just too short lived.
That's
crazy
just a
to think
reminder.
that-
Without a defense, it doesn't matter how good your offense is. You can put up points, but if you can't stop the other team from doing the same,
The one thing we can do is draft receivers because we drafted the 2 greatest receivers ever to play this
Hey,
game.
I'm
So-
okay. I'm okay if we could draft another
do
receiver.
you
this
remember
year,
there was a
like,
time the
I'm
Niners
fine with
couldn't
it.
draft receivers if their life depended on it?
Oh my god! Well,
Remember
we
those
couldn't
years?
draft
the mid 2000s.
and then we'd have draft
Even number
picks.
17, what was his name?
And then we wouldn't draft
And
them,
AJ
period, at
Jenkins.
one point.
Yeah. Oh my God. AJ Jenkins.
The bulky era of draft picks were just
Bulky. There, I
Michigan
couldn't
State.
remember. Thank you,
Fucking
Bashar.
dumbass.
Yeah, he
What a-
couldn't
he's a
draft
dumbass.
freaking receivers if his life depended on it.
Yeah.
You know, the
And then he
Patriots
just
have the same
He
problem.
got scared to draft any after the AJ Jenkins debacle.
Yeah, you kept. Yeah,
AJ Jenkins.
I
Michigan State.
don't think we're going to draft any receivers this year, but
I think they
we
are.
actually. If you
But
look at the
probably
list
the
of how
fifth.
many receivers they've talked to with the draft, I think they will.
but
we
don't be
have
surprised if they
another
don't
running
draft
back.
a tight end.
I don't think I would rather draft the tight end by that one out of Michigan personally, but
Yeah, I think they'll draft the tight end too. They have to. Who's behind Kittle? I mean,
nobody worth anything.
Knowing us, we'll
Exactly.
draft another running back.
We probably
No.
will.
Oh my God.
No,
I'd
no,
rather
no, no,
take
no. I
Jake
think
Moody.
we got now that we got CMC, we're
Hey,
good at running
man.
back.
Hey, they
Kyle's-
can get another UDFA for all I care. They still have TDP. They got Jordan Mason.
Quick
Mm-hmm.
question: would you guys rather him? Would you rather have the Niners draft a kicker in the third round instead of a running back? If
Yes.
those were the options.
Yes.
No,
I don't know
yeah.
about kicker in
No.
the third
Yes,
round.
we don't
though.
need a
That's so
running
early.
back.
I don't want
No,
to
we're
kick her
talking
in the
about how
third
bad
round.
we pick running back. in
There you
the
go,
third
Javi.
round.
You're with me on that one.
Yeah, I can't. I can't. Pick, I can't have a kicker in the third round. I want to
get that.
believe. I want to believe that my man Trey Sermon. Listen, I'm a Buckeyes fan, so watching Trey
I was a
Sermon
Trey Sermon
struggle
fan.
when he struggled in camp, I think it was more of an intellect thing. I don't know if Trey. Listen, Sermon had a very easy job in Ohio State, man. I just don't think that he was going to translate well in the NFL. And I didn't think so. I mean, if you asked anybody if Trey Sermon was going to struggle in the NFL, if Trey Sermon was going to struggle in the NFL, they'd be like, hell no, bro. He's going to be a stud, right? Like, he was drafted right where I thought he would go. Little did I know he was going to suck ass in this system.
And he wasn't good on the
he
Eagles
didn't do
either.
any better. He didn't do any better
Yeah.
in Philly either. So
Yeah,
I
they
don't
got
know
rid of
what
his
the
ass.
hell's the matter with him. He struggled with the playbook, man. I remember, I don't know where I heard it, but I heard it, man. I did. I heard it. I heard that he struggled with the playbook, but I just can't remember who
He
said
had
it.
that one good game against the Eagles. Remember the one game he actually got carries, and then he had a really good night. He was getting a lot of nice gains against the Eagles up the middle, and then boom, he got knocked out with a concussion, and we didn't see shit from him since.
When,
And then
when
after
we let
that-
him go, where did he go?
Philly picked him up this year,
Philly.
and he got
But he
cut.
never really played
Philly.
for Philly much, huh?
He didn't get any. He barely got. I think he only got like 1 or 2 carries.
Wow.
Bet you who's on the practice squad, man. Just taking practice.
Damn near
squad.
almost got a ring.
Now, what about TDP though? What do you think about TDP? He did almost get a ring.
We don't know. We haven't seen enough about TDP.
And a couple towards the end of the season, they were giving the ball a little bit. He looked all right, but he
I
needs to
prefer
step up.
Jordan
If he's,
Mason.
somebody needs to step up.
He needs to
I
stay
just-
healthy too, because he's
But I-
always injured. He's nicked up.
I think
prefer
TDP
Mason.
was more of that rookie, let him develop. I think Trey Sermon was more like John said, it was just not comprehending mentally what the
Which
offense required of them.
breaks my heart, man.
But
I
Jordan
really
Mason's
wanted him
better.
so bad to succeed, man.
Sermon.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yes,
Oh, 'cause you're,
absolutely,
Ohio
man.
State
I
John,
wanted him
ask
so
Brandon.
bad.
John V. Asked Brandon how many times I freaking pounded the table for Sermon, and then he fucking made me look stupid. Dude, I pounded the table so hard.
I
for
mean,
Sermon.
dude, if you watched him as a Buckeye, it's hard not to bang the
I
table.
watched
for
him as a Sooner, though, dude. I watched
But I
him
don't
kill
think
as
it
a
was his
Sooner,
fault.
too.
Just maybe his learning ability to comprehend that offense as quickly as other players. So it's
Well,
not
that's
there.
a hard offense.
Yeah, and
Look,
you're
he's
right.
not. It's not like it's not like he bounced out of the NFL. He may just struggle early. He may develop later.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I
hope
wish
so.
him all the best, regardless of whatever. Because
And I'm not
I
even
loved
an
him.
Ohio
I
fan,
loved
but
him
yeah.
dearly here. So
He may get
I
on a
mean,
team like Denver and then just blossom.
I just felt like,
mhm.
Yeah,
see, John B, what I felt
hope
like is
so.
what I felt like for Sermon was drafted to help Lance, but Lance never got to play with him, so we never got to see what could have been because Sermon was good in the RPO. He was fantastic at it. He's actually what I always thought was a pretty good blocker, pass blocker too. I just thought he never fit into the offense when Jimmy G was the quarterback. Like if he had got to play his rookie season with Lance, I think it would have been completely different. I still believe that.
you know what I want
They
to see?
were-
I want to
Trey
see Trey
missed-
Lance a
Trey
full
Sermon
year.
missed gaps. He
Yep.
missed them.
Oh,
He
okay.
saw them. Like, dude,
Yeah.
get in there. What are you
He didn't-
doing?
he-
Yeah.
he didn't
ran
react
right up the
fast enough.
asshole.
He was
He
still
didn't
Yeah,
react
that's
fast
true.
enough. Hey guys, real quick, Trey Lance. Can you imagine him playing the whole year allow him to develop with Brian Greasy at the helm. I think Brian Greasy made Jimmy play even better, did great with Brock, and then now having CMC, I think that'll really help out Trey Lance development, having CMC on the field and having Brian Greasy coaching him up. I really hope they give him the opportunity because, man, he can be that one guy that can win us multiple Super Bowls.
We just have to see what happens. Pretty much, it's we're along with the ride. The part that just scares me is we're good enough to win a Super Bowl, but the quarterback.
What scares me is we eventually lose Trey Lance to another team, and he goes and becomes a freaking All-Pro for that team and wins championships. And we're sitting there with Brock.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you never.
Brock ends up being.
Yeah,
that'd be
terrible.
You never know. Terrible situation.
I don't know. I like Brock because of the freaking moxie he plays with and the poise and everything.
He's got
grit,
the attitude,
the grit he plays with. So I don't know. I feel like he has it because he definitely is a I'd say he plays like I would say like Breeze, and that would be his ceiling. But his attitude is similar to the young Tom Brady type attitude. Like when Brady came into the league and was already just kind of being that asshole with all that moxie. I'm not comparing him at all. I'm just saying like attitude wise.
But it's funny when you bring up Brock as Breeze and people are like, oh wait a minute. But prior to Breeze becoming who he is,
Breeze.
Nobody knew what he was going to be in the beginning.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? So even though you're comparing to Breeze and everybody knows what Breeze is today, you're like, you can't. But there was a point where nobody knew what Breeze was going to be.
Breeze had Sean Payton, just like Purdy would have Greasy and Kyle Shanahan. So it's just,
correct. I'm just saying.
That.
I don't know. What would you guys consider? Like, what quarterback would you compare to be Lance?
I like Breezy.
So like, I would say maybe Lance would be like a Steve McNair type ceiling.
That's a good compare. I like
maybe a notch underneath Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to say he could be Pat. As best it could be Mahomes, but maybe a notch under.
You can't be Mahomes because Mahomes' whole game is just ad-libbing. It's just
he does do that
just like that, huh?
I would love to see 7-8 weeks straight of Trey Lance, and I'll tell you whose ceiling I see. I just want 7 to 8 straight weeks of Trey Lance. That's all I want. I want to see consecutive weeks so that I can tell you who I believe he could be. Because right now, I can't tell you a damn thing because I haven't got to see enough.
We don't know.
It's just like we don't know he's going to be a Hall of Famer. We don't know if he's a bust.
But that's the problem.
To relax.
For me this year is I can't be as excited about going along for the ride because I know our team is good enough to win the Super Bowl. So I'm like, oh shit, fuck, what do we do? It's kind of scary.
Our team is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Our team has always been good enough. Our team in 2012 was good enough to win a Super Bowl.
We were
a quarterback away from doing anything right.
Yep.
I know.
It's just Super Bowls, quarterback away.
That's what sucks. It's like we're so good and ready to win a Super Bowl, but there's so much questions at the quarterback position, and it's like, are they ever going to get answered?
We're going into this offseason with the same issue.
Like, who the hell evaluates quarterback talent? Like, get your ass in here and speak up, God damn it. What the hell are you people doing?
You never know because
you're evaluating all this talent, and the next thing you know, Patrick Mahomes goes by. Josh Allen passes you by.
Okay, but Mahomes, what would Mahomes have been the same without
Josh Allen was in the draft after?
Like, I know Mahomes is talented. Mahomes is insanely.
It sounded good coming out, Christian. I have no idea.
I know, but with Mahomes, I know because like that's what I wonder. Like Mahomes, I think Mahomes could.
Yeah, we see Mahomes now, 2020 vision. Yeah.
He can move on now and probably play in any system. But I mean, I think his development is and where he's at is because of Andy Reid. So I'm like,
yeah, but Mahomes is a tough mother lover, dude. No, this dude's tough. He's got grit.
I agree.
He has the wherewithal. He has the. He anticipate. He's got that anticipation that you like.
So I agree, but I 100% agree. I think he's talented. Like he's an amazing football player. But I think Andy Reid, him getting connected with Andy Reid was the perfect connection.
They helped each other out.
It was. I just wonder like if he had gone somewhere else, would it be the same? Like I think he could leave Andy Reid now and be fine, but I think to start when he became,
what do you know about this system now? Could you imagine Mahomes in this system now? I mean, you think Baker Mayfield would be the goddamn holy grail? Can you imagine Mahomes
because
in
it's
this
a similar system? Because it's a similar system.
Well, let me put it this way.
So I agree. I
Mahomes
agree.
would have
It's a-
went to the Bears when they took instead of taking Mitch Trubisky, they would have taken Mahomes.
Oh, it would have been completely different. There's just because Mahomes sat to start his career
Well,
and
a year
and
under
learn
Alex,
and
yeah.
learn from Andy Reid. He also got to learn from one of the best leaders in the locker room ever, in Alex Smith. So you know what I mean? Like he had a perfect situation. It's just like I don't think Aaron Rodgers would be Aaron Rodgers today if we had drafted him. There's no fucking way.
Motherfucker's going to the Jets.
There's no fucking way that Aaron Rodgers would be Aaron Rodgers without.
You know what's
without
funny? What you
going
just
to
said,
Green Bay.
Christian, what you just said about Mahomes learning from the best coach and sitting under a great locker room quarterback like Alex. That's kind of like what what happened to Trey that first year with the Niners.
Mhm.
You may hate Jimmy, but he's a great locker room guy, and
That's
he's a
true.
great-
That's true.
You know,
Ron had to
he's a-
bounce, guys. So just want to say thank you, Ron,
Yeah,
for coming on the show.
We're going to call it. We're going to close the show. My boy Brandon trying to close the show for the last half hour.
I know. I
tell
saw
him
that. I
squeeze
feel
the
bad.
balls and just jump in there and take control, Brandon. Come
They were
on.
having fun.
Hey, we can always
And
come
I'm
back
messing
on
with
the
you,
show.
Brandon. I know.
I was
fucking
gonna
with
say
you.
something, but I caught myself. Just
Andale.
You know what, Christian?
don't make me say it, Brandon.
I
Watch
swear to
yourself.
God, dude.
Don't let him say it. Let's end it. Let's end the show before we get canceled.
I'm just kidding.
After
You know
our
what?
Oh, shit.
We're
Hey,
trying to build this channel.
All right. Well,
Oh, shit.
that's gonna do it for us. Dion, any last words? I know you just joined us again.
And last words, like he's being executed.
Yeah, my bad. I was over here. I'm rolling right now, man. I'm heading back to AZ. I just feel like let's hope that the off season goes well. Let's hope that everything works out and that we make the right moves to be able to bring in the right pieces to make this a championship level team. And all I want is Trey Lance to blossom and shit on everybody and shut them the fuck up.
Yep.
There you go.
Amen.
All right, I
Dion.
think that's gonna do it for us, guys.
Real
Thank-
quick, just let
Go ahead.
remind everybody, Brandon. Remind everybody that if you haven't already been following us and everyone on the panel, everybody's YouTube channel is in the description below. Feel free to click on it, go to their channel and support it. I don't think I think I have Bashar's in there, but if I don't, I will add it in there. My apologies.
And make
But-
sure they subscribe to the 49er Podcast Network too.
Yeah.
That's the
And this,
channel.
yeah, and as we're thank you, Bashar. And as we're building our podcast, make sure to follow us at 49ers Podcast Network and support the channel, guys. Appreciate you guys. Go ahead,
Hit that
Brandon.
subscribe and like button, guys.
Hey, I
Wipe
want to
your
give a
feet.
shout out to the chat. You guys have been
Everybody.
awesome all night, man.
Yes,
You guys
sir.
ripping the comments. You guys have been questions. And I'm
Joey
sorry that we
Argento.
didn't answer all of them, but you guys have been on fire all night, man. And we would not be any of this without you guys. We appreciate you and your continued support. Rock out this network, my friends. Share it with a friend. What does Pete say? Tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends. What is that?
yeah.
Is that a big
I like
is
that
a
from
biggie?
Pete. Tell a
From
friend.
DIG.
Yeah. Real quick, guys. Next week, I think it would be a great idea. I love what John said and gave some love to and shout out to the chat. Maybe next week we can do a Q&A where the chat asks us questions individually and we just answer the chat to get the chat a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
We can do a Q&A type of show next week or towards the end or
that'd be
something.
great.
We'll figure it out, but we'll get the chat more involved. Appreciate the chat a lot because other than that, you guys are the best, man.
We
Yes,
the
sir.
best.
We're the best. All
We
right,
the
Brandon.
best.
Andale.
All right. Until next time, guys. We'll see you next week at 7:00 again. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.
Later, fam.
49ers.
Where's the stupid thing at?
Bye bye, Jay.